wide grip lat pull downs. Take your thumbs, wrap them right over the bar like this, and you're gonna just lean back, keep your back stationary the whole time, and watch my shoulders are coming back and squeezing. They're not rolling forward. They roll forward, they're gonna just be on your rotator cuff. So you don't wanna be straight up and down with your shoulders rolling forward. So lean back and squeeze, come back up. Nice controlled, you don't wanna be swinging like that. Or just nice and controlled coming down. That's a wide grip lat pull down. All right, reverse grip, same deal, put those thumbs right behind. And then nice and controlled, keeping your core nice and tight. You're coming down, squeeze your biceps at the bottom, coming back up. There's no swinging, you're just coming down, coming back up. Make sure you focus on squeezing at the bottom so you're in control. You ever catch yourself swinging, it's not effective and you're gonna risk hurting your lower back. So just nice and controlled, bring it down, bring it back up.
All right, Cody, what we got here?
All right, this is the one arm bent over row. So you're taking your dumbbell, making sure your back is nice and flat, and your head, you focus on your spine being straight. So you reach down, you grab the dumbbell, and you just row up. You're not rocking into it, twisting like this. You're just nice and stationary right here, pulling up every time you come up. The main muscle that you're working is your lats right back here. So you're not swinging, just nice and controlled on a bench. And you're getting 15 of those.
Reverse flies.
Reverse flies. So you're here, and make sure when you're bending over like this, your core is nice and tight. You're not bending too far, about 45 degrees, and your arms just go nice and controlled back. If you have to rock to get the weight up, the weight's too heavy. You don't want to risk hurting your lower back. So nice and controlled. And it should burn. The muscles that you're working, you're pinching are right back here. So when you come back, pretend like somebody's finger is right here and you're squeezing the finger.
Call that one the Hulk.
The Hulk.
The Hulk, that's a good one.
All right, next one's the hammer curl. So you're gonna hold your dumbbells, and just like you would when you're hitting a hammer or hitting a nail with a hammer, you're coming up and back down. So just so you can see from the side, you're just moving your forearms. You're squeezing your bicep at the top and letting it back down. Like from the front, I like it when you do both at the same time so you can keep your core tight and you can knock it out. You're gonna focus on, with every exercise that we're doing, focus on keeping your spine nice and straight. You don't want your head leaning forward. You don't want your hips swaying out. Just nice straight spine, everything controlled. So it's the cable curl. Again, keeping your core nice and tight, and everything's in control. So you're coming up and squeezing your biceps and you're going right back down, coming up. You don't want to get it to where your arms come all the way straight and you lock out your elbows. You always want a slight bend on the bicep curl so you keep tension on your long and short head muscles in your bicep. So you come straight up, you're not rocking your hips, your core is nice and tight, spine is straight. And then once you're done, good form. By good form, butt down, proper squat, and then set the weight down. A lot of people will get injured because they finish an exercise and just throw the weight down, or they lose the form, so you gotta be careful with that. All right, it's really important on bench press first to make sure your heels are driving into the ground. One of the most important pieces of bench press is to make sure you're stable with your movement. You don't want your feet up and moving around. You're gonna be nice and stable. You're leaning back, your shoulder blades drive into the bench, you bring the bar down, and you make a 90-degree angle with your arm, and then you press it back up. You don't want the bar touching your chest, because as soon as your arm passes 90 degrees, it takes out your pectoralis major, and you're just using your shoulder with as much weight as anybody will use on bench press. Your shoulder isn't supposed to lift that much. So make sure you make a 90-degree angle, and then come back up. You're focusing on this muscle right here, so you're keeping tension on it, and you come up, back down, you make sure by the time you get to 15 reps, like on Mike's plan, that you can barely get the weight back up. I like Smith machines because even if you get tired at the bottom, you can rack it and spot, but just make sure if you're doing it on a free weight bench that you have a spotter with you so you don't get hurt. Ready. All right, this is the Incline Dumbbell Chest Press. Make sure you set your bench up, because this is with the free weight dumbbells, to where you have an incline, and then if the seat adjusts right here, if it's typically flat, just lift it up to where it'll lay down towards more comfortable on your back. Grab your dumbbells, lay back, and you're just taking the dumbbells right down to your chest and back up. Same principle applies to where you're making a 90-degree angle with your forearm and your biceps, and then pressing right back up. Everything's nice and controlled. You're keeping your abs nice and tight. That's where your power and your stabilization comes from. And you get it. You don't want your head coming up. Don't be looking at the mirror while you're doing it. Straight spine, be strong muscles. So just keep going, knock out those 15 nice and controlled. Always be careful setting your dumbbells down. Just the exercise isn't over until the weights are put back on the ground properly or racked properly. Don't think you're done just because you're done with the exercise. Make sure you set everything down properly. As soon as the weight's out of your hand, then you're done. All right, flat chest flies are the next, dumbbell chest flies are the next exercise. You just take your bench and move it back down. Don't be afraid. If you have any questions in the gym, ask somebody, but don't be afraid to just mess around with the equipment. Make sure you get the bench nice and flat. And then you grab your dumbbells again. You'll probably use lighter weight on this because this is more difficult of an exercise. You lay flat again, your heels are on the ground. You're here, arms are bent just a little bit. You're coming down, coming back up. You want your dumbbells to be in line with your chest. You don't want them going all the way down to the ground. Just dumbbells in line with your chest. Come back up. Then you knock out however many reps are on the paper. So for Mike's workout, it's 15. Every time you come together, pretend like somebody has a finger right in the middle of your chest and you're squeezing their finger with your chest muscles. And then you come back down. Squeeze that finger. You're focused on working your muscles, not just moving weight around. You want to engage those muscles that you're working. Bring it together, come back down. All right, tricep press downs. You just find a nice flat bar that you're gonna use. You stand, again, keeping your spine nice and straight, core engaged. Grab the bar and you're gonna go all the way up. Keep your elbows in one spot, all the way up, and all the way down, and engage the back muscle of your arm, and back up and down. You're not swinging the weight around like this. You're just nice and controlled. Elbows are staying in one spot. And every time you come down, you squeeze the back of your arms. This muscle right back here, you come down, you squeeze it, and back up. You keep tension on your muscles the whole time. You don't take mini vacations while you're working out. If it feels good while you're working out, you're doing it wrong. Just make sure those muscles are on fire while you're doing it. All right, triceps press with a dumbbell over your head. Just take the dumbbell. Don't push yourself too hard with these. I mean, you want to burn your muscles, but you need to make sure your core is engaged and it's a weight that you can control. Too many times in the gym I see people use way too heavy of a weight on this and they're moving their lower back around. You don't want to do that. So keep your abs nice and tight. Weight comes up over your head. Don't lean your head forward. Spine straight. Move the dumbbell back. And you're keeping your spine straight, working the back of your arms while that weight's moving. So you're holding onto the head of the dumbbell with both hands, and you're squeezing this muscle right back here, keeping your core tight and your spine straight so that dumbbell goes back. Try not to hit yourself in the head, but it forces you to move that dumbbell back behind your head, all the way up and squeeze and back down. Remember, the exercise isn't over until the weight is racked properly or back on the ground, so don't lose focus until you're done with that point. Then you can take your 0 to 30 second rest. I like 0 the best.